my baby.
Hey y'all, welcome back to another video.
Welcome to us. Daddy, we ain't done this in so long.
We haven't done it in a while.
We ain't done this in a good long time. Y'all come on in, babies. Come on in. So we can have this conversation openly, honestly, loudly.
And with love.
And with love. Let it be lovely. All those things.
So let's just get right into it. Because quite frankly, enough is enough. You know, with this Monique and DL Hugley thing, I was letting more things transpire so I can get a little more information. And I feel like it's about time that I give my 2 cents, right? So let's just start with the beef, right? Now, we all know who Monique is. We all know who DL Hugley is. I think their track record pretty much speaks for itself. Monique has been in the game for a very, very long time. She is known for her comedy. She is known for her roles in sitcoms and movies. So she's pretty much a real-rounded performer, I would say. DL Hugley, he's doing his thing. Also, he is a comedian. He has had a sitcom also, and he now currently has a radio show. Unfortunately, Monique has been blackballed. They're saying that this is a re-blackballing. I never heard of that. So if this is the case, she would be the first person in history to be re-blackballed. Now, is the blackballing warranted? I don't really think so. But let's get into it.
Y'all come on in, my babies. We want the ones, like I said, that get it. And we really want the ones that don't get it. Come on in. So we can have an open and honest conversation. And then, y'all may answer some things for yourself and ask yourself, how would you have handled the situation? How are you going to deal with it? And I hope that DL makes his way into the live.
Like you do all the time. Who calls Netflix and thinks I can get $10 million because I did the Queens of Comedy? Who thinks you can get on stage and still live off that? I was a king of comedy. You never hear me talking about it because in this business, like any other, it isn't what you have done, it's what you do. That show was one I signed on to do.
What? He said it's not what you did, it's what you're doing. That's absolutely not true. It's definitely what you did and what you're doing. There's not a cancellation of one or the other. For the newbies, it's definitely what are you doing now and how are you beneficial. However, if you've been in the game, it's definitely what you did because what you did determines what you will get paid.
We love to play the dozen, snapping, cracking, dissing, whatever you call it when we come here. So you can't take it personal because we might just pick on you. Tracy Morgan and Monique.
Chill. This is my baby mother. Only I do that. Mo, your mom's so old. She knew the honeycomb bear when he was a Chicago Cub.
Nigga, please. Your mama's so old, the bitch squirt powdered milk out of titties. What's up, BG? I'm gonna let y'all know right now, baby, I am here to represent every big woman in America. Every one. Every big woman. So I want every big woman in here tonight to give me a hoop one time. Now, see, there's some more big asses in here other than those hoops. What's up? What's up? And y'all can show me some better love than that. Give it up one time. Now, brothers, don't get me wrong. I'm not no woman bashing, no man bashing, all that. But sisters, sometimes it's our turn.
And you keep hanging around with JJ, you're going to wind up just like he is in jail. Now, why are you tripping? I ain't tripping. I heard you trying up with my answer machine the other night.
All that. But if Denzel walk his fine, sexy ass in here right now, I'm taking the rest of the day off and getting straight down with the get down. You know what I'm saying? Girl, let me tell you, Denzel is nice, but I like the young thugs. Ooh, I love me some 50 Cent, baby. Ooh, Shawnee's, go Shawnee's. It's your birthday. We gon' party like it's your birthday. Strip a party like it's my birthday. And you know we don't give a fuck, it's your birthday. Ah, look at this little nigga here. Black women got some special shit with them. We are some special motherfuckers. And if you look around, every sister in here is so pretty. And we age so gracefully. You see what I'm saying? You don't never know how old a sister is, baby. Because black women, we have a motto about life. We have a motto. Black women don't give a fuck. Jerry, I'm here today to speak for all people of mixed race in America. Now, as a black Tino woman, I believe we deserve our own race category for fortune identity, Jerry. That's how I feel.
Did you just say black Tino?
Yes, I did. I'm a black Tino American.
I'm of mixed race, and I've struggled my whole life as to whether I'm Chinese, whether I'm black. But you know what? It doesn't matter.
What you are is Chinese-Negro.
Chinese-Negro.
Chinese-Negro. There you go.
You know, is whenever I have a problem with my man, I call Shantae because she keeps it real.
I thought you said he was working late.
Damn, girl. What you gonna do?
Welcome to iFilm.
Thank you.
Okay, I'm fascinated by torture scenes. Okay, whether it's Jack Bauer on 24 or whether it's Mel Gibson, and your character was subject to some pretty horrific torture in Shadowboxer. That's probably the most intense kind of scene in there. One of the most intense scenes. Can you describe that day with Lee Daniels, or those days? What were they like making that scene?
That's funny.
Wow, I'm trying to. The torture scene?
See, to me, that scene, I mean, you're talking about the scene at the end where they end up dead. To me, the much more intense scene.
I wasn't trying to give away the major plot point, though.
All right, sorry.
We don't know how else to put it. Are you tired? What? Are you getting bored with God? Mom, please. It's okay. I understand. I've dreamed of releasing myself.
You want to sell clothes?
You want to be a booster, huh? Why that man used to come down to the phone company and sell them dresses? You remember him, Nita? She asked. What you selling, women's clothes or men's clothes, Jody?
Women's clothes.
That's a good business, babe. I'm gonna buy clothes every other day. But if you're gonna do that, you need to know something about women.
What about them females, Mom?
Oh, you hear your son.
Such a funny thing for me to try to explain. I'm feeling in my pride is the one I'm playing.
You a bad bitch. Oh. Wait a minute, girl. I'm serious. I'm serious. You bad. You are the baddest bitch survivor ever had. Soon to be my sister-in-law up in my kitchen, girl. I'm honored. And she was very strong-willed, but she had a heart that would open up to the world Who done that to you, huh? Looks like it might stay forever. If you wanted it and she saw that you had it, she was willing to give you all of her so that you can become whatever it was you wanted to become. You bitches think I'm playing. And I made and had enough.
Wait, what I gotta apologize for? I just got it.
Let me tell you why you gotta apologize, because you're looking like a damn monk with that up on your head. Get your ass in the kitchen.
I love you, sister. Girl, you be rocking that thing.
Do not encourage her. Peaches, fall back, all right? This is a professional environment.
Yes, ma'am, it is, Miss
Yes,
Girl.
it is. Zora, do you like the earrings with this?
Well, you know what, the earrings are funky.
Nobody asked you, Peaches.
Okay, girl, but they just don't go with the shoes real good. That dress is red. Don't rock those gold shoes, baby. Rock red shoes.
You don't like the shoes?
Set it off. Set it on fire. Bam.
You got to come a lot stronger than that. Oh, let's do it. Well, let's do it. Come on, pump. What you got? All right. You so fat. You can't fall down. There wasn't no drugs in my house. I didn't play that. There wasn't no drugs in my house. Precious know I will whoop her ass if she gonna bring some drugs up in my house.
You know what?
So that was just a brief peek into the immense body of work that Monique has done and some of the awards that she has received. So it is most definitely what you have done and what you are doing. Do you think if she wasn't blackballed that she wouldn't still be on a roll? Seriously. The only reason she's making the demands she is making and able to is because of her track record. The only way you feel that you can be this headliner is because of what you did. Is that correct? Because I know you don't think that you could be the headliner because you have a radio show. Like, come on, let's just be real. Let's just be fair across the board. And if not, why not? Put some respect on her name. That's what you need to do. Put some respect on her name. Moving along.
Just take y'all back to where when you think you're cool with somebody, you find out that you're not. Some time ago when DL Hugley, he still has his radio show, and they called me to do an interview. I go on to do the interview, and I'm getting interviewed by the sister Jasmine, and I can't remember the other gentlemen that were in the room. It was one of his producers, and it was another gentleman on the radio. And please forgive me, I can't remember their names. So we're having a great time doing this interview. Well, when we get to the end of the interview, the sister Jasmine says, "Hey, Monique, would you like to play a game?" And I said, "Okay, sis, let's play the game." Well, when she said the game is called Would You Rather. So I said, okay, I'm down for it. And then the sister says to me, "Would you rather your husband sleeps with Lee Daniels with a condom or Corinne Steffens without one?" So DL was not there that day. I said to his team, let me call DL Hugley, because what I know is that brother ain't down like that. He gonna have a problem with y'all saying that kind of foolishness. So I get DL Hugley's telephone number, and I call DL Hugley. And I say, "Hey, man, I just did an interview with your people, and this is what they trying to run. Like, this is the game they trying to play." And DL's response was, "That's just how we do, and that's what it is." I said, "Really, brother? So we attack families now? Like, what you doing?" Like I said, that's just how we do. I said, then through the years, and I want y'all to hear me, please. Through the years, I've listened to this man talk about all that I'm not, what I didn't deserve. I was mentally ill. I was bitter. Me and my husband did poor business. I was selfish. I was fanatic. I was psychotic. Now, don't take my word, please. You can Google it for yourself, YouTube it for yourself. DL Hugley speaks on Monique. And through the years, my babies, I said nothing because I knew the day would come that I would see DL Hugley. Now, for every interview he's done, I didn't get it from nobody else's mouth. I watched it for myself.
So as you can see, Monique went down to the radio station. She had an interview in DL's house, so to speak. It was at his radio show. And some inappropriate things were said. She felt as though she needed to call him and let him know, DL, this is what's going on here. And he was simply like, shrug. That's what we do. If you can't handle it, don't come here type of thing. And she's like, well, wait a minute. We have history. So that's what we're doing today. We're putting ourselves in the shoes of. And then once we're in those shoes, we're going to ask ourselves, what would I do in this situation? If I was in that situation and I was called upon someone who I think is my friend, and I show up to their establishment, get interviewed, and get asked a crazy question like that, and I speak to the person who I'm thinking is my friend, and they're basically like, well, I'm going to have a problem with that. So for her to not say anything right then and there, that speaks volumes. If she's so difficult, she's so volatile, she's so unstable, why didn't she go off right then and there? Why didn't she blast you then? Why didn't she expose you then? Those things just simply aren't true. And then on top of that, for you all to have history, and this is the response you get. You know what? Let's see what type of history they have. Let's delve into that real quick. Check this out.
See, y'all, I'm one of them old school kind of girls. I'm one of them old school, round the way, down the block kind of girls. And when you get invited to my home, that means something to me. And this was back in the day. This was back in the 90s. And I was opening up for DL Hugley. And I was excited. He was doing a comedy club in Upper Maryland. It was the night of a Mike Tyson fight. So no one showed up. 10 people showed up to the show. It was no judgment because everybody understood when Mike Tyson fight, the world shuts down. So for whatever reason, DL had the date. They booked me on the show with him. I'm excited. We get there. It's 10 people. I say, hey, DL, so the night's not a total bust. Why don't you and your audience, because they came to see him, come on back to my home? We can watch the fight. I'll fix some food. Let's have a good time. So I invite this man back to my home. Now, I don't know about y'all, but my home is my sacred place. But I invite him and his audience back so people wouldn't walk away disappointed that there was no show. So that's why I felt like from that moment to the moment I did his radio show and they tried to come with foolishness, I always thought DL Hugley and I were cool. Always. Never knew that he had so much to say.
Her invitation. It was a wonderful time. As a matter of fact, it was based on that interaction, along with talking to people, I decided that I would do these gigs. I decided I would do it.
Yeah, so what strikes me about this story is notice how in DL Hugley's recollection of the circumstances, he says that she invited him to her house for a fight party. And because of this fight party, he decides to do business with her later on in life. That strikes me quite as odd. If somebody has a fight party, does that then make me want to do business with them? No, I don't see the connection. However, in her story and recollection of events, she says that he had a show. It just so happened to be scheduled on a night that Mike Tyson fought. everybody wanted to watch the fight. They did not go out to the comedy show. Maybe he should have had an after party or something. I don't know. However, she said it was about 10 people there. And in order for him to feel better and the people that came to feel better, she invited them to her house, threw down, watched the fight, kicked it, you know. That seems a little more believable that after somebody treated me with such empathy and still made the night pop for me, that would make me want to do business with somebody, because I know, hey, if I go do some business with Monique, no matter what transpires, she's going to have my back and it's going to be a lit night. That makes a little more sense. So now I'm kind of giving you the side idea, because what's really good? What's really up? Like, what's the truth? What's the truth? Now, as far as the Netflix and all of the black ballery, let's talk about that for a minute. We're not going to sit here and act like women in the business, let alone brown women in the business, can just speak their mind or freely talk about things they disagree with without backlash. When has that ever happened? I'll wait. Oh, yeah. I didn't think so. So the moment that Monique ever speaks up, it's always she's difficult to work with. Why is it not ever somebody that she happens to work with is difficult or asking something unreasonable? Why is that? Does it not seem like a common theme that when any woman of color speaks out, disagrees, or has an issue with a business dealings or the way that she's being treated, handled, talked to, and she speaks up about it, it's a problem, right? Well, let's see what they think about it.
And I've got to say boycott this because it's blatantly unfair. It's blatant. It's so in our face that we oftentimes get so fearful. Because if you notice, when I did come out and say something, our sister Wanda Sykes said, you know what, Monique, I stand with you because they offered me less than half. And then she got a special on Netflix because she said they moved the comma. Beautiful. What happens is we're all in a position to always be so afraid that we just let it ride. So I had to stand up and speak out unapologetically and fearlessly.
There you have it. Once again, the Netflix situation. That's self-explanatory. Now, my 2 cents is, how is it difficult working with me because I don't want to accept the scraps that you want to give me? Going back into the resume, she's not a newbie, fresh on the scene. You don't know what you're going to get. You don't know their capabilities or their talents. You know Monique. She's solidified. So when you're bringing her on, she should be able to demand a certain type of ticket. And that's just that. If Dave Chappelle can demand a ticket, Monique most definitely can demand a ticket. She was out way before Dave Chappelle. And that's just facts. He's still relevant because he hasn't been blackballed. And I take that back. He was definitely, I want to say, blackballed for a little bit, but they let him come back. Difference between him and her is he's a man and she's a woman. They both had it hard, though, because they are brown. So once again, even in talking it out loud, you see the discrepancies and the unjustness of all the situation. Okay, let's get into the show. Now, her set was her set, you know.
Bitch, I know, right?
The motherfucking contract said that the bitch is the headliner. The headliner.
Tell him, Monique, the headliner. Okay. So in her set, she talks about what happened at the radio show, and she also proceeds to tell us about the contract, the infamous contract and or deal memo. Now, the contract and the memo are definitely two different things. If you've never been in a business, I feel like, why are you speaking on it? Because when it comes to entertainment, whether it be music, media, we know there's other types of media outlets, but we won't speak on them. You know that there is an initial deal memo where you're basically negotiating what your contract is going to actually say. So it's like a pre-contract type of thing. Matter of fact, let's let them break it down.
Now, we're playing a gig in Detroit this weekend. I know I'm going on at 9:45. I leave the hotel. I get there around 9. Monique had just gotten there. She was supposed to be there at 8:40. She had just gotten there, gone at 8:40. She got there at 8:38. What Monique was trying to do was to slow walk the show. She didn't end up getting on for 30 minutes. The oldest trick in the world is, if I want to change the order and I don't have merit, I'll try to make people wait so long that everybody gets nervous and go, please, just go on so we can avoid a conflict. That didn't happen. Monique got on stage. Monique actually felt like she had merit. She would have done one of three things. Either she would have took it up with the promoter, and she did, and the promoter said, we're going on, and whether you go on or not, that's a different thing. You would have not done it, but she knew she had to get on stage, or she would be in breach of contract.
And sometimes when you're connected to what's right, you got to face the ridicule associated. But we'd rather face the ridicule associated with doing what's right than face the personal ridicule that we would impose upon ourselves for standing there and letting wrong happen and say nothing. So, as not to freestyle, I pulled up the difference between the two. This will give you it in a nutshell. A memorandum of understanding, or the deal memo that DL Hugley presented to the people. It says, a memorandum of understanding is a document used to articulate an agreement between two or more parties. The document is likely to detail the scope of the agreement, the length of the agreement, and the state how the agreement can be terminated. A memorandum of understanding is often used before parties are ready to make a formal, let me repeat that, a memorandum of understanding is used before parties are often used before parties are ready to make a formal agreement. Parties can use a memorandum of understanding to outline expectations and responsibilities before a full agreement has been reached. Unlike contracts, however, a memorandum of understanding is not intended to be a legally binding agreement. As a result, parties can typically avoid the agreement with no legal consequences. Let me repeat that, and I'm going to break it down in layman's terms. When they say unlike contracts, however, a memorandum of understanding, which is what DL provided the community with,
yes,
is not intended to be a legally binding agreement. By legally binding, that means that if you were to try to sue for what was not on a memorandum of understanding, there are no signatures. It is not legally binding.
I'm, as DL Hugley would say, oh, she's just selfish and thinking about herself. Anybody that's selfish, DL Hugley, would not take a 13-year hit in their career. See, if I was selfish, I would have taken the $500,000 that Tyler Perry tried to offer.
To be quiet about it.
To be quiet and make it go away. If I was selfish, DL Hugley, I would have had the conversation privately. See, I know the moment I say it out loud, I know the ridicule is coming. I know it's coming full force, but you know what? I don't care.
And when they say, we don't like the way they do business, why is it they don't get specific about
The
what it
business we've done.
is that we've done. The problem that is had with Monique, as with many black women, y'all not supposed to stand up for yourself.
So yeah, basically what I said explained a little better. So DL Hugley showed us a copy of his deal memo, which is what he wanted to happen in order for him to perform at the show. Now, just because he put it in the deal memo does not mean that that translated over to the contract. Now, the performance agreement is what you get after you've negotiated and went back and forth with the deal memo. The deal memo is what you require to be a part of a function. The performance agreement is what they give you after they have read your deal memo, what you require, and then what they are willing to provide you with in order to secure you for the performance. So we got DL Hugley's memo, and then we have Monique's performance agreement. We also have two different lineups. Why do we have two lineups? Why? Monique says that she was presented the show lineup that had her as the headliner. And then she said moments after arriving to the venue is when she saw the new lineup. That's janky promotion if I ever seen it. But we'll get to the promoters in just a little while. First, let's talk about why he brought up Steve Harvey. Now, Steve Harvey was also mentioned in her set. And if you've been around or not under a rock, you already know what have transpired between Monique and Steve Harvey. They had a conversation on his show. After that, it was once again a lot of befuddlement. And what I mean by that is what you get is never what you see. Or rather, what you get is never what really happened. Right? Because you go somewhere, you have a conversation, and then they edit things, switch things around, and things don't quite look the same anymore. It's like an optical illusion. In a lot of cases, it's optical delusion, okay? So, let's see what Steve Harvey had to say.
Now, I want to address something else. And everything I'm saying, please find it out for yourself. I want to address something. When DL Hugley says, and then she brought in Steve Harvey. See, let me tell y'all something. This ain't new. I watched DL Hugley and Steve Harvey sit on his show and lie.
DL show.
On DL show and lie. I watched Steve Harvey say to DL, we had to edit the show because Monique was saying some crazy stuff and we had to protect her.
Edited to protect her because it was some really crazy stuff. But what was crazy was in protecting her, I left myself out there too. You know, I misspoke. It didn't get covered right because we had seen the whole interview. It was it was just two people who've known each other for a long time, right, that we should have had in private. Right. Be honest with you, that we had out loud in front of people. Right. That's how we've been talking to each other for years. People thought it was, oh, he talking condescending.
And then DL says, yeah, man, you was just trying to protect her. And then Steve says, yeah, man, well, let me ask this question. When did they get into the black woman protection business? So that's why I said Steve Harvey that night. So that night, DL, what you got back was the medicine that you've dished out to our community for so long through the years. And I want to address what you're trying to make the show out to be.
She goes on stage and she proceeds to eviscerate me. Not just me, but Steve Harvey, the sexual, my wife, my dog later on in subsequent conversation. Let me ask you something. What did any of that have to do with an alleged contract dispute? What did Steve Harvey have to do with your contract? What did I have to do with your contract? What did my dog have to do with your contract? What does my wife have to do with wrote your contract, you and your daddy. You proceeded to say things that were so patently insulting that it was galling. It was galling. You asked in subsequent conversations why I have a dog, a support dog, what kind of person has a support dog. I have that dog because my father died. My children and family decided they would get a dog from where he was from, and I named the dog after my father. I don't have a dog to keep people away from me. I have a dog so I have my father with me all the time. That is an act of love which you know very little about. You proceeded to assault my sexuality. You have the temerity to assault someone's sexuality, a man's sexuality, given who you lay next to. None of that had anything to do with alleged contract dispute. You could have taken that up with a lawyer. You would have gotten out. You could have not gone on stage, but you knew you didn't have a valid contract. And you do what you always have done. You tried to weaponize black femininity. You tried to turn that audience against me. You tried to burn everything down.
Let's talk about the comedy for a moment. Back in the day, comedy was not received with such sensitivity. You could cap on people, which is simply teasing, making fun of lightly. You could do that, get a couple laughs and keep it moving. Comedy was for the comedians to get on the stage and talk about their life and make it funny for us, relatable for us, right? That is simply what Monique did. She went and got on stage and talked about her and what she went through with someone. I really hate that the world has become so sensitive and desensitized at the same time. Like, how does that work? The world is so desensitized, yet this is the most sensitive climate I have ever seen. And I'm good and grown. It's comedy. It's supposed to be jokes. I feel like there's now more outrage about Monique simply stating her truth than y'all gave Will for slapping Chris Rock. Y'all not even talking about that no more. Now you're talking about Monique simply stating her truth. On top of stating her truth, you guys are twisting her words, saying that she attacked the wife and the dog. She was making jokes. Not only was she making jokes, she was talking about DL. When she said that about the wife, she was saying, how can you do that to a coward? Which is her talking about DL, not the wife. So it's just crazy to me that you can't go to a comedy show and just laugh. You have to pick apart every joke and become a victim. DL, out of everybody, should be able to take whatever anybody says with as much that he says about other people. You know what Monique should have said to DL? She should have said, that's how we do. That's exactly what she should have said.
She doesn't work at the Quickie Mart. She's not a brain surgeon. Her behavior on stage is not unprofessional because it's indicative of the latitude that a comedian is given. They are given a comedic license to speak in reference to their life. And guess what she did? She spoke about her life because she would be doing the crowd a disservice to hold all that back and say nothing. And part of the reason why we're having the conversation out loud, because there are many of us who've been enslaved in our thinking to believe that everything that happens that's volatile, that could be construed as embarrassing, should be kept quietly. And when Brother DL says Monique does what a lot of women do, and that's weaponized feminism. No, what a lot of women do is they get mistreated because they're feminine, because they happen to be women. So when a woman takes the course of facing her opposition head on, she's a bitch. She don't know what she's doing. She being disrespectful. I mean, What's the name of the book Brother Steve Harvey wrote? What was it called?
Act like a lady, but think like a man. What? Do y'all see what we buy into? I'm not equipped to think like a man. I'm not equipped to think like a man.
And why does a woman have to think like a man in order to be accepted? And then when a woman thinks like a man and dealt with DL head on, now it's a problem again.
And now I know what Tyler Perry knows. I know what Lee Daniels knows. I know what Oprah knows. I know what Steve Harvey knows. I know what Charlamagne the God knows. I know what Netflix knows. Saying yes to Monique is an occupational hazard.
What we believe in is trying to put forth the facts because we love our people.
Yes.
And what a lot of individuals don't know is the people that he spoke about Monique having a problem with, he said they all are the same. And they're right. They all were people who stepped to her and she stepped back. Now that's the problem. If you notice throughout the years, what are the details associated with what makes Monique difficult? See, when they speak in generalities, it allows you to come up with your conclusion about how she was difficult, but they never go into the specifics. See, the specifics would be Monique has a problem with Oprah Winfrey and Tyler Perry. Oprah Winfrey for multiple reasons. Besides the fact that as a black woman who privately said, and here's that word again, privately communicated to Monique and I that her position for not campaigning for an award was right and it was fair because everything she did was up on the screen. In addition to the fact that she had no contractual obligation to do anything for Lionsgate. When you have Tyler Perry, who privately admits the same thing, but also says, anything they ask me to do is what I'll do. When you have a billionaire who says anything they ask me to do, I'll do, what begins to happen is they'll use his actions of compliance to put down everybody else. So Monique was supposed to do something for people that she owed nothing. Now, if you think that she was wrong for that, this is what I would suggest you do. When you go to work tomorrow, or if you're at work right now, go to your boss and say, listen, moving forward, I've been tripping. I've been looking for money at the end of the week for my job. Moving forward, I'm going to work for you and let you make money off of me and I get nothing in return. If you think that what she did was inappropriate. The black woman is violated so much that y'all heard the recording of Tyler Perry saying he was wrong and he was going to make it right and he is yet to make it right, but nobody is saying anything to him because he's Tyler Perry.
Okay, let's take a minute and have a breather, right? Let's talk Monique's husband real quick. A lot of people have a problem with him in his position. I don't really like that. I feel that it's not enough people that see marriages or couples like that who have a man that's going to stand there with his woman 10 toes down. Now, a lot of people say, what does he have to do with it? He has a lot to do with it. Not only because he's her husband, but because he's her manager. Okay? It's just like a momager. You know, a lot of people say, the mom is doing too much. Well, she's going to do too much in your eyes because she's not your mom. She's also not your manager. Those are very heavy hats to hold, both of them. A husband and a manager. In both instances, his job is to protect her. So he's there protecting her times two. I like their dynamic because when on stage, Monique gets to be the fiery, funny, no holds bar comedian. But when she's there with her husband, the way she sits in her femininity, the way that she is just so calm and smooth and laid back, it's beautiful to see. And I feel that society is so not used to that they paint it in this bad picture like he's doing too much, when really you're just used to men not doing enough. Let's get used to and re-normalize real husbands, real marriages, you know? Anyway, I digress. And matter of fact, no, I don't. Not one time have I ever heard Monique and Black Love be mentioned in the same sentence when it absolutely should be. So yes, I love it. Black Love. I commend y'all. I love to see it. Let's get right back on into what's going on. So, janky promoters, right?
Y'all don't understand the fight a bitch had to go through to stand in front of y'all tonight. Y'all don't understand I was ready to walk the fuck up out of here, but I said I can't let the people down of motherfucking Detroit, because the promoters is raggedy as a motherfucker.
I decided to look into these janky promoters and just to see what are they really about. So the promotion company is called New Day Entertainment Live. You can find them on Instagram. They have 459 followers. And from what I've seen on their Facebook page, they've been in business since about 2015. At least that was when they first showed up on an actual page on Facebook, August 12, 2015. So I actually hit the website on Facebook. I also hit the website on Instagram. And I also hit the website to take me to a browser. And this is what came up. I did it a few times to see if it was just my phone tripping or anything like that. I did it with the Wi-Fi on, and I also did it with just my data on my phone because I don't have to use Wi-Fi if I don't want to. And each time these results popped up. So that intrigued me even more. So I said, self, go to the reviews. So I went to the reviews, and I'm not going to sit here and act like all the reviews were bad. They do have good reviews. However, it seems this is not the first time that they have had some type of discrepancy when it has come to an event. So let's just read a few of the reviews. I don't know how to say this first person's name, but their last name is Eubanks. And she said on February 14, 2016, highly disappointed in this promoter and their poor representation of a concert. The headliner was supposed to be Layla Hathaway and was replaced with another artist without offering customers a refund. Poor practices, and I would not trust buying tickets from this promoter. I feel ripped off and cheated. Beware. Whoa. So that's one instance. We also have on July 9, 2017, shame on you, New Day Entertainment. Kiss 105.9 FM in Detroit. Guy, Teddy Riley, and Aaron Hall, a no-show at the 105.9 Kiss Fest. You could have at least had the decency to announce it. Very unprofessional, and we deserve to be compensated. Well, we have somebody else for the same event. False advertisement. You knowingly promoted Kiss Fest with Guy as the headliner when you knew they were not coming. Give the people their money back. We need to be made whole immediately. Another review from that same event, I'm assuming, very disappointed. This event was promoted as if Guy was going to be there and they weren't. The show was very long and I'm assuming they meant to say no one. No one even had the decency to let us know. Shame on you. I will not support any more of your events. This is the last one I read because it is a lengthy one. CJ says, if I could give you all 0 out of 5 stars, I would. Talk about piss poor business practices. I am extremely disappointed, upset, and in awe of your poor business practices from the concert that I paid tickets for and attended. I bought tickets to the Guy, Teddy Riley, and Aaron Hall concert Kiss Jam at Freedom Hill in Sterling Heights, Michigan. I had been waiting months to see them perform, and I was truly shocked that Guy did not only not perform nor show up, but there was no explanation, word, correspondence, message in a bottle, Morse code, etc. to concert goers about their absence. The concert ended immediately without the respect of your entertainment company having the decency to address this major flaw in your event. I have recently learned that the concert venue issued a limited number of tickets to another concert out of the goodness of service recovery. Although it was not their fault or poor business of false advertisement. I have missed this opportunity, but respect the venue for trying to address some of the grievances of concert goers. I ask now, what will you all do to appease persons like myself who are still dissatisfied due to you? I need answers, and I have not heard or seen anything yet, not even a simple mere email to attendees. Waiting for an explanation and accommodations. Sierra Jackson. Well, so we now know that the janky promotions has been going on for quite a while. Now, I will say this. I wonder if Monique and or DL Hugley looked into the very company that was putting on this show. I don't want to bash them too bad, because having a business is very hard. The entertainment business is very finicky, and it is a lot of people who are very hard to please. However, good business practices can usually save you. If you make a mistake and you're honest about it, your customers can understand that things happen, right? But it's when you have no regard for the concert goers, the comedy show patrons, that's when it becomes a problem. So now let's take it a step further, because if you don't care about the customers, how much do you care about the performers? I don't know what made Teddy Riley, Aaron Hall, and Guy not show up to the venue, but that says something to me. Was this really Monique and DL's fault, or was this the promoter's fault? And I urge you to point the finger at the promoters, not each other, and for us not to point the finger at them. I feel that this boiled up to this degree because there was already history of some disrespect, some hurt feelings, misconceived notions upon friendships and the levels of relationships that people had with each other. And I think that is what tipped the iceberg. However, for this event and what went wrong, I feel that the promoters were responsible. Anytime you have a show and it doesn't go right, the person putting on the show is responsible. However, when you put something together between old acquaintances that have unfinished business, that is unleashing a whole nother animal. So with that, I say, get off Monique's back. She is just a human going through life like the rest of us. If everything that you seen here today transpired against you, how would you take it? Would you have something to say? Would you want to fight? What would you do? I think that's the real question that everybody needs to ask themselves, because we so quickly judge people, point the finger, wag our finger, and say what we wouldn't do and what we wouldn't say. You never know what you're going to do until you're in a situation. I don't know. It's funny, but we will definitely be following the story to see what happens next. No matter what, regardless of the situation, Monique, I am rooting for you. You're a beautiful Black woman. You've paved the way for so many others. I commend you in your courageousness to stand for something. It's a lot of people out here standing for nothing. That's why they fall for everything. I commend you for being okay with the backlash that you get in the midst of telling the truth about things, your truth. A lot of people can't tell their truths because they're not even comfortable with themselves. So uncomfortable with themselves that they don't believe their truths. So how could they stand for them? Monique has been through a lot. And it's not a pity party, it's just facts. From men and women, but mostly men. So if you're a woman and you have to constantly combat with men, how do you expect her to come? Like a timid little lamb? No, sir. She's going to give it just like she got it. And that's just what it is. So y'all need to leave Miss Parker alone. No, I'm kidding. But leave Monique alone. Let Monique do what she do. Exercise her talent. She's very talented. She's very well spoken. And the growth that I see from her is beautiful to watch as a younger brown woman than her. Monique, you're in our prayers. DL, you're in our prayers too. But God watches out for the babies and the fools. So, DL, you should be cool, you know?
So let me be clear again. For all the shade droppers, tea spillers, candy bar biters, Saturday night, DL Hugley was going to get his ass handed to him because through the years, I've heard this man have a lot to say about me. And what the type of person I am, if y'all don't know by now, I wasn't going on nobody's radio show talking about how I felt towards DL Hugley. I wasn't going on nowhere. I was going to make sure the night that I spoke about DL Hugley, I wanted DL Hugley to be there.
Well, if you happen to be a topic of discussion over here at My 2 Cent, you are more than welcome to come over and set the record straight. Like I said, My 2 Cent is just my opinion. I speak on just speculation, you know what I mean? But if you want to set the record straight, come on and correct me if I'm wrong, honey. Because sometimes I am. I'm a human and I'm woman enough to admit that. Smooches.